Nowadays, SUVs that last forever are a result of a couple quick criteria. Number one, durability overall. Number two, electrics. And most importantly, number three, the quality and reliability of the engine will allow a vehicle to last forever. Here is part two to share another 5 amazing SUVs that will last forever. Let's get into it now.
Life's too short to drive boring cars.
Why are people not buying more of these vehicles? They are literally ruthlessly reliable. We're dealing with a Toyota, of course, pretty beefy looking headlight set, lots of beautiful chrome, off-road capabilities. You've got nice trim along the side with this pearlescent paint. Of course, gorgeous mirrors and a really beefy set of handles. Yeah, you do get a roof rack here to allow you to haul your junk to the trunk or even take a trip to the mountains. Of course, look, it's a very squared off back, meaning that you can allow a lot of cargo space in there because it is more square. It maximizes your interior space. This here is a limited version, means it's quite loaded up, and the interior is built to last at least 1 million miles. Everything is stout, sturdy, well put together. What we're dealing with here, of course, is a Toyota 4Runner. As we see here, yes, you can haul a lot of weight, you can tow your boat or your trailer, and it does have these great little aftermarket looking taillights, running boards, additional chrome detail, but most importantly is what's underneath the hood is what really matters. 5-speed automatic transmission, loosely spaced. It's rugged, robust, and will last a long time. So that part of it is very solid. The electrics is solid on here. This is definitely built to stand the test of time on rough roads, off-roading. It's clearly a very capable machine. It's a 4-liter V6, naturally aspirated. It's on a U-channel type frame, so it's solid, stout, and the engine isn't working hard. 270 horsepower, I might add. And they use that engine in this mid-size SUV for that simple purpose, because it's reliable and it's robust and will go hundreds of thousands of miles. Yes, it has port fuel injection because that's the most reliable, less economical, but more reliable. And as well, it can whack 15 miles per gallon in the city, close to 20 on the highway. So it's not the most economical vehicle, partially because of the fuel system, as well as the size of the engine, and of course the oversized wheels. It's also garnered such a reputation. RepairPal rates this at a 4 out of 5 stars for overall reliability. Definitely worth a look. And not only that, what we're dealing with is intelligent variable valve timing system to help assist with giving the lower end grunt as well as a higher end performance. 0 to 60, 7.5 seconds. So it's not fast, but it's certainly not slow. It can get up and go and do its chores gracefully. But again, the engine you want to be looking for, specifically this 4-liter, is actually called the 1GR FE V6. So if you want reliability, longevity, this might be your bet. And another very reliable unit is this beautiful little SUV right here. Everybody knows that this particular brand, Honda right there, is notoriously known for high levels of reliability. And while there's been a few misses in recent years with some of the Honda Accords and a few Civics, for the most part, Honda knows how to build a very reliable vehicle. What exactly is this? Well, it has some great new designs for this model year. Alloy wheels, definitely plastic here to protect, standard business there, and it does have a sunroof. The interior on this vehicle is quite basic, but it's guaranteed to last hundreds of thousands of miles. Unique looking style of taillights here on this CR as we see right here by Honda. Again, this one's all-wheel drive is an optional upgrade. Now, generally Hondas are more reliable, naturally aspirated manual gearboxes, but things are getting better. The 2.4-liter 4-cylinder was ultimately the best in these versions. But the latest drivetrain in this unit here is actually quite reliable. Now, these latest versions of the CR-V come with the CVT, with a continuously variable transmission, which clearly has a little additional maintenance associated with it, but it still works, and Honda knows how to dial that in. There's a few manufacturers that can get it right like Honda gets it. The latest engine in this particular vehicle is quite stout, and there is currently a predicted reliability of 82 out of 100. And there are a few critics that will actually call this unreliable. These engines are built to last a long time. Early generations of this engine had a few problems. Oil and fuel dilution. A lot of that has been dialed out with engine changes as well as software updates and maintenance procedure changes. So the engine right here that we're talking about is the 1.5-liter turbo 4-cylinder engine. It's called the L15BE Turbo. There is also an upgradable 2-liter that's attached to a hybrid system that is even more reliable than this 1.5. Regardless, suffice it to say, Honda knows how to make a reliable vehicle, and this is guaranteed to last hundreds of thousands of miles. So much, in fact, you'll get bored of it and you'll want to hand it down to your kids and hand it down again, and it just keeps on going. And another very reliable SUV on the market today. Do you know that these vehicles vehicles are punching way above their weight class. As a matter of fact, Consumers Reports now puts Mazda up there with Hondas and Toyotas and Lexus vehicles. They're in the top 3 or 4 consistently in the last few years because they've been definitely dialing in some of the reliability, durability, as well as some of the options they feature. It's a gorgeous little, it's got the wings on there, a great little stealthy looking set of headlights and a real strong chin spoiler and a set of beautifully painted rims. This is basic, that's basic, and there's no sunroof. But overall, it has other nice touches like a stealthy set of rear tail lights, a real exhaust tip, as well as a towing hitch. Means the CX-5 and the all-wheel drive system is a winner. The interior is very nicely put together and actually is sharper looking than some of its competitors from Honda and Toyota. Yes, Repair Pal says 4.5 out of 5 stars means it's a really, really strong competitor. But there have been a few issues, and before we talk about the engine and why this vehicle is quite durable, I mean, it does come either with a 6-speed manual gearbox or a 6-speed automatic. Now, there have been a few issues with shutdowns not shutting down appropriately when you hit the stop go button. As well, headlights, windshields have been known to crack a little bit prematurely. The infotainment system is a little bit flaky from time to time, and the overall defrost of the windows in colder weather have shown some challenges over time. But just check the overall reliability. These are all smaller nickel and dime items. There's nothing regarding bad transmissions or engines. The engines are very stout. 2-liter, 2.5-liter available, as well as a turbo upgrade. The turbo can give you up to over 250 horsepower, but unless you really want that level of performance, the reliability comes from the naturally aspirated engines in 2 and a 2.5-liter form, and those come complements of a variable valve timing system, Skyactiv technology, as well as great tuning. So the 2 engines we're discussing are the 2-liter Skyactiv G, the PE VPS i4, as well as the 2.5-liter Skyactiv G PY VPS i4. And so for maximum durability, stay away from the diesel. I would suggest staying away from the turbo unless you want that higher level of performance. This is an ultimate reliable package. And here's the next little hot rod that's guaranteed to go 200,000-300,000 miles or more if you take care of it, but there's some special reasoning for that. But let's take a quick look. Clearly, we're looking at a hybrid version of this particular SUV. Well, what is this? Obviously, it's a Toyota. We have the blue T right here. As you can see, that means it's hybrid. Now, I wouldn't necessarily always go with the hybrid. Personally, I would go with the base engine, which we'll get to in a second. We do have some great detailing on the front here and some great inlets there. Alloy wheels, beautiful. I love this roof rack here. It's low profile, looks great, and it's great to haul a lot of junk to the dump. Of course, we do have a sunroof up here, which is nice. Cycle around, we have these great little taillights. Pretty standard for Toyota. They don't change too much too aggressively. And especially on the RAV4, it's their bread and butter little SUV, as we're seeing right there. Now, one thing to note, these do come standard in front-wheel drive, but as well, you can get the upgrade like this in the all-wheel drive format, which is more typical, especially in the northern climates where you see snow on the ground. This is more the preferred choice because it gives you the all-wheel motoring capabilities. As you see, there's different variations and drivetrains of this. Hybrid, you can get other different types and sizes of engines, but the one that you really want to get is the 8-speed automatic transmission, made it up to the naturally aspirated, all aluminum heads and case. Of course, it's got variable valve timing, and it puts down 203 horsepower, makes great power, great performance, 0 to 60 in about 7.5 seconds. It's a wonderful little unit. What engine is that? It's actually the 2.5-liter A25A FKS engine. That's right, it's naturally aspirated, no turbos, the 2.5-liter, get them while they're hot because even Toyota and Lexus are transitioning into a full turbo operation. So these are the engines that are guaranteed to run a long time. They can get a little buzzy when you rev them up, but they have decent performance in this setup and they're economical, and the direct injection and port injection makes them ultimately fun to drive. It's a great reliable unit, and honestly, one that you better get a hold of while you can. And the next bulletproof SUV also shares the same engine from the Toyota Tundra as well as a Lexus LX 570, and it's this little unit right here. Well, it's actually quite large, as you can see. Very large SUV, very stout, and there's actually a replacement for it. Now, this isn't the latest and greatest. This is about 2 years old. Of course, the latest version has an upgraded engine, which we'll talk in another video, but this one here is an example of the type of drivetrain that Toyota has become famous for. It was designed and ran 1.3 million miles in testing, easily in real world can go 400,000 or 500,000 miles all day long with the right amount of maintenance. And what do we actually have here? This is a Platinum, so it's dressed up. It has alloy wheels and a big running boards, massive beefy handles, and an interior that feels very, very truck-like and built to last a long time. And as you can see, Massive truck-like front end on this vehicle. It also resembles the Toyota Tundra on the front end because it's essentially the same vehicle. Go down the side, it's beautiful, has just enough lines to make it interesting, and we have a big solid looking taillight on this iForce 5.7 liter V8. Tow a bunch of weight with this as well, and you have all your plug-ins. What are we dealing with here? It's the Toyota Sequoia right there. And what's so special about this vehicle? Well, Repair Pal rates it at 3.5 out of 5 star, only because a couple of minor little things to think about. You can get oil coking on the piston rings. You just have to do more frequent oil changes than the 10,000 mile service intervals and you're good to go, as well as water pumps, which is not necessarily an uncommon issue with a lot of Toyota products. But that engine in general is a 32 valve double VVTi engine, port fuel injection, so you don't have the carbon up on the intake manifold. It makes an outstanding 381 horsepower and about 400 pound-feet of torque, and cracks a 0 to 60 in 6.6 seconds. Pretty quick for a large behemoth like this. And while this vehicle is particularly thirsty on fuel, the reality is if you want a workhorse that's built to outlast you and I, this might be your answer. Well, which engine is this? Well, this is Toyota's 5.7 liter V8 called the 3UR FE. Yeah, it is a literal workhorse, guaranteed to last at least 500,000 miles. So clearly long-lasting SUVs are a wonderful thing, but in case you've decided to change your mind and you want a vehicle like this that's guaranteed to last forever because of their great drivetrains, check out that video. You're gonna love it. That's gonna give you the full rundown for some great options. Hope to see each and every one of you on the next one. We'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.